Welcome back, everybody. Dren608 here. I am doing a non-live stream for Fiona, our female monk. I do live streams on Saturday mornings of Fiona's adventures here in the Stolen Lands. It was a fan pick to play Fiona, a female monk who's, other than becoming the Baroness of the Stolen Lands, she's going to want to romance Tristan. I was going to take this video here is going to be just me going around and talking to all of my companions. So, um, if you're not interested in that, you can just skip this video. For those of you that are, we can stay with me and we'll go explore people. There are. Harrim won't talk to me. He's antisocial at the moment. I thought I'd talk to Tristan last. Maybe we'll go inside and talk to the people inside because Lindsey's in here. So we'll go over here to talk to Lindsey. So a halfling girl with tousled hair wearing dusty travels out, still sits chewing the tip of her quill. Just a moment. How should I put this? Oh, I know. She scribbles something quickly in a notebook, scrawled with verse, raises her eyes, and gives you a bright smile. Oh, hi. So tell me about yourself. What do you want to know? Where are you from? I'm from all over. I was actually born in Galt, in such a tiny village that it's not even on the maps. If it weren't for my teacher, I'd still be living there, milking goats, weeding turnips, swilling homebrew, and having babies and using books only as kindling. Who was your teacher? He's a true saint. He was once an important person in the capital at the Church of Shaylin, but he got in trouble with the authorities and went on a self-imposed exile to the tiniest, most godforsaken, priestless village he could find, the one where I was born. He wanted to open a school, but the villagers wouldn't let him. You can heal us all you like, but no putting any ideas into our children's heads. It'll only distract them from their work. But he did teach me on the sly. He taught me how to read, how to write, and he gave me books, poems, legends. He was the one who told me about the Arch Knights of Aveston. You guys can pause to read all that. It's a continent in the world of Galarian, one of the most heavily settled areas on the planet. Aveston possesses so many varied cultures and environments. Dang it. As any other continent in the world and an ancient history stretching back tens of thousands of years. Brevoy, the River Kingdoms, Numeria, and the Stolen Lands are all situated on Aveston. When I told him I was going on a journey, he gave me a magic ring so that Shaylin, known as the Eternal Rose, the Eternal Maiden, and the Incorruptible, is the goddess of art, beauty, love, and music, and the half-sister of Zon Kuthan. Shaylin focuses just as much attention on internal beauty as external as aspects of her role as goddess of beauty. It always promotes the creation of art and composing and performing music. Clerics of Shaylin frequently are artists themselves. As goddess of love, Shaylin encourages the proliferation of that feeling in all its forms. She is not the goddess of sexuality, lust, or fertility, and makes a very clear distinction between love and sexuality, though she does not in any way discourage erotic love. The few paladins who worship her practice courtly love. Shaylin would protect me from harm. I haven't seen him since I ran away from home. I hope he's all right. I ask Shaylin every day to grant him a long life, and new students. Archknights of Aveston? Who is there? Who are they? I'm a poor monk. I have no idea what you're talking about. You haven't heard of them? How can you be a heroine without knowing one of the most epic stories in the history of stories? No, I won't spoil anything. You should just read about them yourself, every single chapter. Their adventures are what gave me the idea of going on a heroic quest and writing about it to begin with. And now, look at me. Here I am, on a heroic quest. How did you become a bard? When I realized there was nothing for me at home besides more radish patches. I always stumble over that for some reason. I decided to run away. A traveling book peddler, Tessie the Quill, happened across our village. Well, I stuck to her like a burr and wouldn't let go until she agreed to take me as an apprentice. Together we traveled everywhere, to Brevoy and Taldor and even Ustalov. And then I found out about the Academy of Grand Arts in Patax. All right. Brevoy is where we're kind of basing out of. Young nation having only existed since 4499 AR. After something? The history of Brevoy before this time is the history of two often warring nations, Isia and Roslin. The coming of Coral the Conqueror changed all this. After securing the defeat and surrender of the two nations, Coral christened his family house Rogarvia. Its rule ended with the mysterious disappearance of every member of the House of Rogarvia in 4699. AR. Huh? Leaving Brevoy in a precarious political position. Okay, so 200 years and all of a sudden they all disappeared. Taldor is... The mighty empire of Taldor once stretched from Arcadian Ocean to the border of the Paddish Empire of Kilish. Erodin himself was said to walk among the people of Taldor, and his religion, a shining beacon unto the world, radiated outward from Taldor's gilded capital of Opera. Taldor's ancient armies of exploration established footholds for the empire throughout Golarion, and its mighty phalanxes marched for thousands of miles during the Shining Crusade to beat back the Whispering Tyrant. Now Taldor is a stunted remnant of its old glory, having lost control of its daughter territories, and it's almost ignored by the powerful countries of today, which assume it will continue its slow decline for at least another century. And Ustalav, the immortal Principality of Ustalav, is a fog-shrouded nation of countless horrors, and a once proud realm that suffered under the clawed hands of the Whispering Tyrant for centuries. Okay. And then I found out about the Academy of Grand Arts. While not as popular as some of the great bardic schools of the Inner Sea, Patax's Academy of Grand Arts still manages to attract some students seeking greater specialization. And in Patax. Long a haven for thieves and smugglers, Patax is a hub for trade in the River Kingdoms. It aspires to be a center of culture and higher learning as well, but cannot escape its more unsavory origins. And I thought, well, I love reading stories, so I can surely learn to write them too. I enrolled on my first try, and they even gave me a scholarship. Then they expelled me, but that's okay. They'd already taught me all the important stuff. And now with Shaylin's help, I can manage on my own. Your worship, Shaylin. Yes, not to offend the other gods, but she's the most important of them all. All the other gods guard the world as it is. Only Eternal Rose, the goddess of beauty, calls us to the world as it should be. Why are your clothes so messy? Forget it, I can't waste money on looks. I'd rather buy books instead. In 100 years, when people are reading my works, they aren't going to ask whether the author had holes in her sleeves. Let's ask her about something else. You come from Patax, tell me about it. I love Patax, even though they kicked me out. A joyful place. What's it like? Actually, Patax has always been one huge nest of thieves, bandits, river pirates, smugglers, fences, card sharps. It's always been home for the likes of them, but that was before Uruvete became king. With him, a whole different life began there. Uruvete always wanted to make history, but not as another bandit with a crown, though that's exactly what he is. Haha, he wanted to be glorified through the centuries as a great patron of the arts, so he built the Academy of Grand Arts and spent lots of gold to assemble the best artists, poets, and musicians. Of course, the very best ones refused to go, but he got what he wanted in a way. If Patax was once a booze barn for thieves, now it's a cabaret. What do you know of this king? He won his crown in a game of cards, which says as much about Patax as it does about him. He's fiendishly clever. Some cheats I know told me that from the moment he appeared, he started pulling off such schemes that the old city masters just scratched their heads. With him in charge, gold flooded into Patax, and also he's incredibly, unimaginably, fantastically decadent and conceited. Okay. Getting drunk with whores at the pub, that's not Lord of Innocent. Oh no, he aims higher. Dressing up like a male Calistria, also known as the Savored Sting and the Unquenchable Fire, is the goddess of lust and revenge who takes on many faces and guises. She is held in especially high regard by elves, who often identify with her mercurial moods and changeable nature. Fondness for wasps has earned this vengeful deity the title of Savored Sting. Such creatures live on after harming their enemies, a trait that Calistra's followers hope to emulate when pursuing their goals. With a golden codpiece and holding a 3-week orgy with dancing on the rooftops, parades, public executions, and a contest for the best ode to the great unrivaled king. That's more like it. He also likes singing, but he orders his guards to make the citizens gather for his shows. May Shellen have mercy on his listeners. Okay, how about the Academy? You know, jokes aside, I'm thankful to Uruvete for building it, but he has no taste. At all. Whatsoever. He likes his art loud, bright, grandiose, and most importantly, glorifying his Royal Highness. He kicked out the best charcoal artist because he didn't wish to spend money on gray scribbles. He sacked a masterful flute player from Tianzia for playing too quietly, and instead ordered them to open a kettle drum class. He even ordered the Academy... Okay, we've already done that. To expel me, and for what? An innocent limerick. When you want to go back? I'd like to return, but on one condition. If they threw out 3/4 of the professors who teach there now, and returned all the ones they banished. If you ask me, I'm proud to have been expelled. If my art was to Irida's liking, then I would have reason to be ashamed. Okay. As long as mediocre lickspittles sit at the academy and those with real talent beg on the streets of Patax, I will not cross the threshold of that place. Okay. She wants to clean house at her former school. Book? Jathael, you've seen some of our rough drafts, haven't you? It's a book about you and your adventures. I'm writing the whole truth just as it happened. Well, the whole artistic truth. You know, no glory, no story. So what kind of character am I? Truth be told, I was a little afraid of meeting a real hero. In books, they're all protectors of the weak and poor, but what about in real life? But you eased all my fears with 2 shakes of a tail. You're a true heroine, just like in the legends. My new fear is that in 100 years, my readers will say that people like you never existed. But I'm writing the truth. You have an iron core. No matter what tricks fate throws in your path, you always know what's right and what's wrong. Some might say that's boring, but others will learn from you, from your strong character. Do we really want to go into her writing? We'll ask her about this. Well, these are only drafts, but of course you're welcome to read them. Just keep in mind that even if you don't like what I write about, I won't change a single letter, so don't even ask. Of course it's a book about you, but it's my book, understood? The small writer's eyes glow rebelliously. Well, this keeps me in my lawful good, so we'll say as long as you write the truth, I have no objection. Hand over heart. Truth, only truth, and just a teensy bit of imaginative exaggeration. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else we want to find out. Leave and do not return. I don't want to ever see you again. I won't do that. She's just too much fun to have around. She's always getting into things. What's the deal with the ring? Oh, this. It's a gift to me from my first teacher. It's magical and imbued with powers of shale nonetheless. When I get myself in trouble, it transports me to a safe spot. So please, don't be angry with me if I suddenly disappear from a fight. I'll wait for you here. Promise. Okay. So, I guess Lindsey can't die because she's telling our story? I take a drink with all this reading. So I guess Lindsey can't die because she's writing our story. So if she goes like to death's door and is gonna go gray and be dead, then she'll be popped back here or someplace safe. Okay. Do we want to know about Tessie the Quill? What's to say? The books my roots to travel, but it was only thanks to Tessie that I managed to really get out of my village. Tried to win Valerie to get rid of me, but later when I told her I was staying in Patak, she even shed a tear. I wonder where she is now. Okay, I think that's about enough from her. Leave without me, of course. You could just write whatever you tell me, but if I wanted to stay cooped up in a dusty room, I'd be sleeping through lectures at the academy. No, you're kind of like my person here. You do lots of things being a bard. Talk to Octavia or Regongar first? Let's go talk to Regongar. By the way, you'll hear me refer to Regongar as Reggie because I can't say that name, Regongar. So I tend to just call him Reggie. What do you want? Have a little chat? All right. It's not like we have anything better to do. Tell me about yourself. What does it know? I was born. I'm alive. Haven't died yet. That enough for you? Do you remember your childhood? What a crap question. I was just a kid when I sold me. Before that, I don't remember much. Smoky fire, stinky hides, always bumping along on a horse. I think I was born in one of the Kelid tribes of Numeria. There are many. Some survive on their own. Some give up their pride and serve the Technic League. Okay, Numeria. Once a rising power poised to unite its neighbors under its banner, Numeria's leadership has fallen to decay. Here, savagery and science exist side by side. Amid the wreckage of a crashed starship from a distant world, technomancers from across Galarian flock to research and exploit the technological wonders found within the otherworldly ruins. Meanwhile, tribes of primitive barbarians cling to an age-old tradition and eschew technology in favor of their own raw skill and martial prowess. This is a nation where, under the auspices of technological advancement and the betterment of civilization, a select few rule a subjugated nation as despots and tyrants, placing their own power and continued reign above the well-being of their citizens. And then the Technique League. Technique League is a group of arcanists and other lore seekers obsessed with unlocking the mysteries of the Silver Mount, an ancient alien artifact that crashed long ago near the Numerian capital city of Starfall. Through their indirect control over the nation's ruler, the Black Sovereign keep both cool, the Technique League also has strong influence over the laws, policies, and economy of Numeria. Because mine was one of cowards if they sold their own kids. Okay. Remember my father's hands, rust-scarred white, so I guess I get this green skin from my mother. But I don't remember her. I think I remember playing with another half-orc child, a brother maybe. For some reason they didn't sell him, just me. Father gave him his dagger to play with, never gave it to me. Oh, I don't want to remember. Forget all this. I'm an orphan. Regongar waves his hand wryly. What, deity? I never had much help from the gods so far, but if you make me choose, I'd say Callistra. Who else could I worship? The savored sting, the goddess of pleasure, fun, and revenge. Oh, yes. Revenge. What's your magical powers? The hell's he talking about? Oh, you mean these. Regongar makes lightning run across his hands with a contented smile and snaps his fingers, invoking a shower of blinding sparks. I've had them since I was born. At least one thing I can thank my scum parents for. Maybe these powers are why they sold me to slavery. Think they were scared? Who knows? Damn Numerians. It's technically they drew my blood, did experiments, burned me with fire, tortured me with cold electricity, and they told me, you won't believe it, they told me I have blue dragon blood in my veins. Not bad, huh? I'm a dragon, you freak. Come check my blood if you dare. Grinning, Reagan strikes his palm with his fist, and another fountain of electric sparks shoots upwards. Okay, so he's got dragon blood. Blue dragon blood. Okay. What do your tattoos mean? They're magical. They help me control my powers. The Technique League gave them to me. I'd hoped that somewhere on my body there was at least one sign left by my tribe. But no, I guess they didn't care to bother. To hell with them. They better hope I never find them. If I ever meet my father, I will even the score between us. You managed to use both the sword and magic and not cut off your fingers. I'm just that bloody good. Do you enjoy making people suffer? Why should I care about their suffering? I do what I want. If I step on someone's toes, then they shouldn't have put themselves in my way. But chasing someone down just to torture them? That's only entertainment for maniacs like the Technic League. Well, on second thought, for them I would make an exception. I'd love to watch as I fry them nice and slow. Why do you ask? Did my method shock you? Ragnar clenches his fist, buzzing with sparks, and laughs loudly at his joke. Well, lawful good says you're no more than a common felon. Look who's talking. Who are you, then, if I'm in your gang? An accomplice? Or maybe you're hoping to redeem me with friendship and good examples. Ha ha ha. Thank you for your answers. Probably shouldn't have gone down that line. Thanks, don't fill a purse. I'm just kidding. Should I find out what he's like with Octavia? Amy and I don't have a relationship. We have a life together. How did you meet? Back when we were children, we were taken as apprentices of great spellmaster Janusz Maestro Janusz, he called himself. He's our teacher. Well, he made Octavia read books and memorize spells. I have my own innate magic. He trained me a bit, taught how to control my gifts, so I wouldn't lose control and incinerate myself like a dumbass. Oh, teacher, we will meet again. There's one more test I must pass. So you're asking about my Octavia. We've been together all our lives. We learned everything together, how to weave magic, how to survive. And as we grew older, we learned how to love. Without each other, we would have never gotten out of there. That's for sure. We would have given up and surrendered to death. But together, it's a very different story. Not the first time and not the 10th, but eventually we made it out. Why do you call her yours? She doesn't seem to like that very much. Girl loves freedom so much that, and even a slight chance of losing it frightens her. She is so smart, you really think she feels like I'm trying to make her mine? Like an apple stolen in the market? Me, who was skinned alive for trying to help her escape? She's afraid of the word my. It's because she doesn't understand the difference between my boots and my heart. But she will understand, sooner or later. Octavia and I are connected, and this connection cannot be broken. We grew into each other. You know, jealousy is for weak cowards. We don't trust our jealousy is for weak cowards who don't trust each other and are scared of being tricked. If a knight on the side threatens your love, that just means there's no real love there to begin with. Interesting. She and I are together to the end, and we will never part from each other. So when she likes some lad or some lass, it's no drama to me. I just ask her whether she wants me to leave them alone or to join in, and she does the same. Haha. What, are you judging us? Or maybe you just don't want to join in our... You just want to join us in our tent? The half-orc grins. I'm not here to judge, just curious. You asked, I answered. When you pry into others' lives, don't be surprised if you find something that will keep you up at night. Thank you for your answers. Do I really need to know about his life in Numeria? I think we kind of figured that out. I think we can save that. Let's talk to Octavia. Oh, it gives you a fetching smile. Something you need. I just have to ask, how do you manage to look so gorgeous even when we're out in the middle of nowhere? Oh, so you've noticed, smile slyly. My appearance is the result of daily effort, and it's not easy. Do you know how much time it takes to create a good makeup or to mend a dress, even with the help of magic? So if someday you wake up early, an hour before dawn or so, you can actually check on me. You'll see how I prepare myself for a new day. Ha ha ha! Oh, Octavia, the flower of the stolen lands, you're as beautiful as you are dangerous. You strike down monsters with your spells as you strike down people with your beauty. Uh, uh, I don't know. I don't want to answer any of these. I didn't realize I was going down this round. Oh, let's just do 2 for kicks. You're a real sweet talker. I feel all flushed. Hands herself with a hand. Well, now, I've got to pay even more attention to my looks. For now, I know for sure there's someone who appreciates my efforts. Tell me about your childhood. Too little, some scraps of memories, no more than that. Am I? She answers herself, seeing herself in the mirror. You know, I think you might be right. I'm rather slim and tall, and I can see well in dim light. Touches her ears. Ah, they're a bit pointy. Yes, I'm definitely a half-elf. Let's think about that logically. So my mother was an elf, and my father was a human. Or maybe it was the other way around, and my mother was a... Finally, Octavia could take it no more and burst into laughter, having spoiled her own act. So that's it. Now you know as much about my parents as I do, she says after her laughter subsides. Do you remember how you were enslaved? I clearly remember the man who took me away from my home. He was big, with a huge pot belly and shaggy beard. I was afraid he would eat me. Anyway, he didn't stay with me long. Gave me to his slave accomplices, and I never saw him again. My mother was giving me to him. She was crying. I can still barely hear her quiet voice, but I can't recall her words or face behind the tears, just that lavender smell. It tickled my nose, and I wanted to sneeze. My mother sold me into slavery, but then who was she crying? Why was she crying? And if she didn't want me to be a slave, why didn't she try to save me? Pondering over the thought and sighs. One more riddle from my past that I don't care to solve. Exactly. Do you remember? Nothing special. Some images of a faraway past. That's all. I do remember wooden table legs. The paint on them was peeling off, and I was standing on my toes, trying to peek at what was on the table. Remember the wild rose by the window? It kept me up at night, scratching the glass with its gnarled branches. Do remember my mother's blue dress? It was a trifle battered, but it smelled of lavender. Guess that's all. Not much there, right? All those memories, it's like they're not mine at all. I recall some images, and I know I should feel something about them, but I don't remember exactly what I should feel. So let them rot in the swamp with the tazzleworms. Give me good Jersey. My life's good enough for tazzleworms. Tazzleworms are in the swamp. Now we know. Go to the swamp. We're going to fight tazzleworms. Octavia grins cheerfully. My life's good enough without them. Okay. Oh, it's amazing how, after all your hardships, you still remain so cheerful and optimistic. I try not to view my life as a never-ending course of sufferings. Yes, I've had my share of hard times, but do I need to recall them? After all, along with the bad things, I had some good things as well. I had a dream, and I followed it, and eventually it came true. Following that path, I met Reg and you. Now I'm free and surrounded by friends. Uh, kind of relationship do you have, Ryan? We're together, she answers simply. The way you said we're together sounded unconvincing. Is something wrong? You notice? Well, I didn't mean that. Now I'll have to explain. I'm not sure I know how to put it correctly. See, Red seems to treat me like his property. He's always kind to me, and it feels good when we travel together or when we share a blanket at the campsite. But he always calls me my Octavia. I've told him over and over I don't belong to anyone, that I'm my own, that I stay with him by my own free will. He only grins when I say that. I bet he likes to think that I'm his. Never mind, though. I'll sort it out somehow. It's troubling. The troubling thoughts go away. The fact that Reg is so impulsive doesn't bother you? Ah, that is very delicate matter. Anyway, Reg means a lot to me, and he endured a lot for me, but some parts of him just scare me. Me too. He becomes extremely bloodthirsty when it comes to slavers. Don't get me wrong, I hate slavers with all my heart, and I'll do a lot to cleanse the world of their filth. But Reg, he'd do anything. Understand? Absolutely anything. I'm afraid that anger might kill everything good in him. Tempted to talk to him about it many times, but he just won't listen. He becomes even angry after our conversations. Okay, let's not talk about Reg anymore. Do you worship Callistra? Yes, many slavers survived only thanks to their faith. Some lived hoping for a day when a good deity would deliver them. Some even offered deals to the evil gods. But me and Reg, Callistra, has taught us the most important things. Accept no gifts from above, rely only on ourselves, never forgive those who wronged us, but at the same time savor every droplet of pleasure we could squeeze from our bleak days. Okay. Well, that's pretty interesting. Let's go out and talk with the rest of us. I think I just started a romance with Octavia, which I don't want. We've talked with Lindsey, so these are not companions. Now, this one I know is Honorial Eight Eyes is the Pathfinder person. Why is he still here? I have to be careful. I don't want to talk to him because that might end the thing. Okay, we need to go talk to.
I'm there.
Is it up here? There's Val. Let's go talk to Val. Everything is well, I hope. I'm ready for new orders. You don't have to follow etiquette. I'm aware of that, but I'm sure you understand that I am what I am. That's how I was brought up, first by my parents, then by my mentors in the order. Besides, I was born to a noble family, raised rich and proudly, so I'd rather enjoy the idea that my manner of speech differs a bit from the common language of the peasantry. You just can't imagine how many social climbers have bowed politely the moment I opened my mouth. Follow my orders, why? What do you mean, why? Valerie looks at you in bewilderment. I follow your orders. I've joined your campaign because I have faith in you. I believe your intention to be noble, though things may not always turn out as you planned. You are my commander. Your orders are law. It's my duty to follow them. I tense for a moment. Well, so long as you don't order me to do something that's absolutely dishonorable. But that would never happen, I hope. Yeah, I'm lawful good. I'm not going to tell you to do things that are totally a dishonor. Got to be careful with these conversations because they all have a line that says, I think it would be better if you leave. And you can actually kick them out of your party, which is usually not a good thing because they have, every one of these people have side quests. And side quests are experience points. And experience points are important because it's the only way you can get up high enough level to actually finish this game. So you don't worship any deity? Right. I need no guidance from above. I have my own good conscience and my leader's orders to live by. How about yourself? What exactly what you know? I was born in a noble family, though I didn't remain long on a family estate. My father sent me to the Order of the Eternal Rose. Jathael, also known as the Eternal Rose, the Eternal Maiden, and the Incorruptible, is the goddess of art, beauty, love, music, and the half-sister of Zonkothan. So we've been there. So was a part of Shaylin, too. But I left once I realized that it didn't match my principles. Why were you sent to the Paladin Order of the Moon? As you can imagine, for my first days I was surrounded by crowds of servants and nannies who never stopped praising my heavenly beauty. Paladins of Shaylin who used to visit our house echoed their praises. In the end, general consensus overwhelmed my father's better judgment. When I turned 6, I was brought to the Church of Shaylin and told that this would be my new home. Don't pity me, though, I beg of you. Many of you who hear this story immediately assume that my parents were cruel and had no love for their child. Valerie's became stern. Parents had respect for me. They taught me something that supported me all of my life, a sense of self-esteem. Besides, they didn't abandon me. Once every 6 months, they would come and visit me at the Order of the Eternal Rose. We had some tea, and then had an hour to walk around the garden. Then they would take their leave, as etiquette demanded. What did they teach you? A variety of things. Some of them appealed to me, others I simply couldn't accept. I enjoyed the physical activities and swordsmanship, but the arts, calligraphy, painting, poetry, and so many other ways, it's to waste one's time. To waste one's time. I guess that deep in my heart, I always knew that I'd never be a true paladin of Shaylin. Wielding a sword always felt more natural to me than handling a paintbrush. Why did you leave the order? Because of my heavenly beauty, which is in contempt. According to Shaylin's law, all art is sacred, whatever form it takes. Severe punishment awaits those who dare harm a painting, sculpture, or poem, no matter how worthless the drivel may be. My looks always attracted unwanted attention from the pilgrims and acolytes at the temple. I received my first poem dedicated to me when I was 9. The author was some wealthy geezer, his lips thin in contempt, and that was only the beginning. Sculptures, pictures, poems, I was drowning in them. My admirers mobbed me, and I had to respectfully accept all their garbage. The clerics of the temple were magnanimous, for my suitors made generous offerings to the church, but one time I just snapped. Barely suppressed anger glitters across Valerie's eyes. Some wealthy idiot has dedicated an extremely untalented poem to me, and he had the nerve to read it right to my face, holding my sleeve. The hour was late, and I was on my way to get some rest after a boring lesson on rhymes. I lost control and tore the poem apart right in front of him. Valerie raised her eyebrows. Paladins wanted to impose some punishment upon me. I don't remember which one exactly. They wanted me to repent. Instead, I just gathered my things and left. What did you do after you left? I set off for Restov, one of the 2 largest cities in the fertile region of Washland, South Brevoy, Laurier measures as well as leads that city. This is where we came from. Trade and culture center that borders the river kingdoms, the Shrike River, and the Stolen Lands. God. Can I right click on this? There we go. As the birthplace of Eldora dueling style, the city boasts several Eldorian and Taldan dueling schools, which has led to the city being a favored place for young nobles to practice dueling championships. Most prominent among them is the Eldora Academy, widely regarded as the region's finest war college. I wanted to get as far away as possible from Shaylin and the destiny everyone seemed so ready to force upon me. Besides, the School of Swordsmanship in Rostov has quite a decent reputation. Honestly, I was hoping for an opportunity to learn from the famous Eldori masters. Eventually it became clear that their technique wasn't a good fit for me. They teach to avoid impact, whereas I prefer to raise my shield. Yeah, I noticed. But my abilities and skills, which I'd learned in the Order of the Eternal Rose, were enough to make the Sword Lords taken Sword Lords. Okay? Eldorian Sword Lords arose from the famed swordsman Baron Syrian Eldori agreed to train a select group of pupils in his dueling techniques. They ruled Rosslyn for generations, each as prickly and repulsive as the Order's founder. Though they were considered some of the finest sword fighters in the Inner Sea region, they are also obsessed with personal standing and honor. Take an interest in me. They offered me a chance to join the mercenaries who serve the Sword Lords, and I accepted. I don't think we want to talk about her beauty, right? Do we need to talk about her beauty? That's probably not a good thing for me to go touch on. She seems touchy on that. Well, let's... And here I'd hope to avoid the question. Well, let's get this over with once and for all. You should understand that I'm perfectly aware that most races, orders, and genders find me physically attractive. It's beyond my power to change that, but I've never given a potential admirer any reason to start a conversation with me. But it doesn't stop them. After leaving the order, I took a dagger and cut off the long hair they used to praise. Well, now I get letters praising the beauty of my eyes. It was because of my appearance that I ended up in the Order of the Eternal Rose, though I never wanted to be a paladin. It was because of my beauty that an infinite number of suitors have pursued me, all of them confusing simple politeness with hints of affection. But I do not know what I really want. But do you know what I really want? I want people to stop treating me like a piece of art. I want them to notice that I'm a person, that I'm capable of something more than smiling for paintings. Where I sit wearing lacy satin dress, holding a basket of peaches in my lap. Is that too much to ask? The last question comes out as a shout, but Valerie doesn't seem to realize it. Yeah. I am truly happy that you understand me. Thank you. Smiles at you gratefully, and then the smile is full of warmth that you never expected from someone as stern as I. That you're smiling back at her. Okay. Let's get off this subject. I don't need to know about the Way of Shale. I've kind of figured that out. Do we really want to go into this? We just kind of got through all that. I think we're done talking with Valerie. I think this is a romance line for a male. I think that's how you get the romance started with Valerie. Yeah, I think we're done here. We need to go talk to Jathael? you with a nod. Speak. What made you follow me? Curiosity. The need for a reliable ally. You see, I must come to understand what my goddess seeks from me. Urgatho, Urgathoa. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Urgatha? I don't know. Also known as the Pallid Princess and Lady Despair, is the goddess of physical excess, disease, and the undead. She is mostly worshipped by dark necromancers, the undead, and those wishing to become undead. Sometimes those who live gluttonous lifestyles make supplication to her, as do those suffering from a serious illness. Her faithful believe she was the first creature to defy Pharasma and return unnaturally from the boneyard and break free from the cycle of souls. Okay. Gave me the powers of Inquisitor without declaring her will to me. I await her reply, any hint or trace or clue. And I suppose our meeting was no mere accident. Besides, Jathael cringes. I imagine that several Kyonin, the homeland of the elven race on Galarian, Kyonin was almost completely evacuated by the elves just before the fall of the Starstorm. They only recently, by elven standards, returned to Galarian to reclaim their ancient homeland and have become an isolationist realm, allowing few non-elven visitors into their mist-shrouded capital, Ayadara. I imagine that several Kyonian assassins still pursue me. They never risked attacking me while I was under the patronage of the Aldori. They're unlikely to attack while I have reliable allies like you. Why did these assassins follow you? I don't know. They can't have been sent by the Queen. I'm branded outlaw, but my punishment was exile, and it's not custom for elves to contravene their own verdicts. My attackers shouted something about threat and blood. I suppose they are a splinter group of feeble-minded zealots, or someone on a quest for personal revenge. Do we want to find out about her story? Stories are boring and a waste of time. I have killed. I was exiled from Kyonin. I died. I was raised by Urgatha's gifts. That is my story. Okay, do I need to know about this? Do you have family in Kyonin? Mean someone I would hesitate to sacrifice? Perhaps my daughter. I would regret the wasted effort. The creature turned out quite well, like a properly trained dog or a well-managed horse. Oh, boy. Who were you? It's rather amusing. I belonged to a wealthy family and held high position on the courts of Adara, capital of Kyonin. When my little wrongdoings were revealed, the trial was held in the very same court where I tried cases and delivered sentences over several hundred years. An awkward situation, don't you think? Who did you kill and why? Family, 4. As calm and ordinary, as if she's speaking of something trivial. But why is the more interesting question. For what it is worth of thousands, what is the worth of 1,000 years if you cannot enjoy it like your first 10 dozen springs? The elf's voice sounds unusually vehement. Everyone considers elves ever young, but our youthfulness is but a mask, a threadbare ritual gown. What lies underneath? The dust of years, a jaded repetition. With each year, the dust grows thicker, and erstwhile joys cease to excite and cloy, as a dish you've tasted 1,000 times. Long did I search for a way to avert this fate. Don't I, who has truly tasted life, deserve a better lot than those benumbed old elves who closed themselves to the world? And I found a way in the ancient text of Urgathoa. A ritual involving the blood of my kin, a trifle that would make each day feel as a holiday created specially for me. The ritual gave strength not only to my body, but to my mind and my soul, and my mind whirled at every sensation, each sip of wine or silken caress. Oh, how I missed this. My cousin was the first I used for the ritual. It was a simple matter to pass her death as an unfortunate accident. But the enchantment would not last. I had to find another, and again conceal my trail. With the third death, my family grew suspicious, and upon the fourth, my deeds were finally revealed. Such a pity, and not for this, my own life, even now, would overflow with burning pleasure, for I have dozens of useless relatives. Man, I really don't want to go down this line. I really shouldn't be doing this. I'm gonna make her mad at me. How tedious, but if it worries you so much, then yes, I appeared before the court. It deemed exile a fair penance. Exile your only punishment? For an elf? Exile is a serious punishment. There is no other Kaonin in this world. Even I, who despise its hypocrisy, must admit as much. How did you die? I don't remember my death. I was stunned by this sentence of exile, and I admit I showed weakness. I wandered aimless, absorbed in despair, without concern for my safety or sustenance. And then I remembered desolate rocks, a stone. I lay upon a stone. I lay upon a convulsion passing only through my whole body, passing not only through my whole body but through my soul. Then I awakened, cold, calm, my body overwhelmed with strength, but haunted by a strange internal silence. There were bloody prints of boned feet on the stone next to me, the sign of the goddess. A battle scythe laid nearby. That was the first and last time I heard Urgatho's voice. Urgathoa's voice. She spoke with 3 words: "Hail the Inquisitor." That is all. And she has neither addressed me nor answered my pleas ever since. I will not bother you with the story of how I tried to comprehend my new condition. Soon I had a chance to put my new powers to the test. A group of my kin had tracked me through the woods. They were insolent and would pay dearly for this, but I had to reckon how I might free myself from their persistent chase. A powerful protector from among the short-lived could help me, and the Sword Lord seemed suitable. That is all. Okay. What's it like to be undead? Oops. What did I do? What did I do? I don't want to go back to the top. I just want to number 3. Know what it means to me personally, or what powers and limitations? How do healing spells, prayers, and potions affect you? Dreadfully, of course. Your healers had better stay away from me in battle. The undead are healed through interaction with negative energy, and I can perfectly manage that on my own. You don't need to sleep, right? I'm spared from that bottomless need, but I hope you do not take this as a reason to invent additional responsibilities to entertain me during the night. Spend this time meditating and addressing the gods. No, I don't. I just have to ask. Carnal pleasures? A tactless and facile question. That pleasure is now essentially to me as food or wine. Action without feeling. Do you regret not being alive? Sure, you know how to ask questions. She asks nothing for riddles. 2 desires led me through life: to feel pleasure time and time again, and to achieve protection. Unlife brought me closer to the second. I am changeless, torn from time, the chaos of the world, and even the soul circle have no power over me. But everything comes with a price. Most things that brought me pleasure in life are meaningless to me now. How can I decide which is better? No purpose in living only for self. It makes life and unlife equally senseless. Agreed. Alright, she yawns pointedly. I think I'm supposed to go. I have no more questions, thank you. Yeah, she's yawning at me, so let's leave her. Should we go talk to Amiri? Mary's being loud over here. See? She's being loud. She's being Amiri. I like Amiri. Hey, Chief! What's on your mind? So I'm the chieftain of your tribe? What do you expect of me? Tribe always must have plenty of food. Tribe's enemies must be tough, not some easy scum. Tribe's fighters must challenge the strongest enemies. Also, well, you must rule the tribe, make big decisions. She waves her hand vaguely. Okay. It's not just a simple weapon, is it? You bet it's not simple. Check out how big it is. She proudly raises the blade, and you notice that even though Mary is extremely strong, she still has difficulty wielding such a large sword. This sword belonged to a real blasted frost giant. I killed the beast and took this looker for myself. Fits me perfectly. My damn trophy. Lashed with menace as she challenged some invisible enemies to try to take away her trophy. Okay, no, I'm not going to touch your trophy. So, have you proven yourself to be a mighty warrior? I have. The trial is finished, and if someone ever doubt me, I'll prove it. Makes her fist at her unseen offender. Okay, tell me about yourself. What is the puzzle of Mary? She scratches her head and starts counting on her fingers. First, I'm a barbarian. I'm strong. I grew up in the realm of the Mammoth Lords. There we go. A realm of megafauna inhabited by humans almost as savage as the prehistoric beasts surrounding them. Realm of the Mammoth Lords is a land in Aveston's far north that is home to myriad nomadic tribes of Keliad barbarians. I left my tribe 6 bears. There's 6 bears. Stockland has 4 bent figures. And I like fights, she includes. I do love Amiri. I just love that idea. I could see I could see this in a movie of Amiri doing some woman doing that as Amiri. That would be great. Guess you do a lot of training. No one intrigue training. The boys of the Six Bears got the training. All I could do was watch. And you know what? They're still crap even after all that training because I kicked their butts hard. Animals, bandits, monsters all thought they were stronger than me. Idiots. Mary spits on the ground. Because if you start a fight, you think you can win. You think you're stronger than your enemy. Amiri raises her chin proudly. I defeated them all. See all the scars on my face? It's the realm of the... Huge and freezing, no place for weaklings. Tribes hunt oryx herds to survive. Oryx are fast, so tribe follows herd for days, not just to die of hunger. If you are weak, you stay behind and die in the snow. Tribe cannot stop. So there are giants and mammoths. Sometimes demons come too. The mastodons. And the saber-toothed tigers. You would survive, I think, for a few days. Okay. Why did you leave your tribe? Because they were assholes, all of them. Men were cowards and scoundrels, and women were scared like sheep. Bloodshot eyes and fury. Men there think no girl can be a fighter because they are weak. They're afraid a woman can beat them. And females just nod. Go sew hides, cook meat, watch kids. That's what they always say. But I'm a warrior, damn it. I won't cook hides and watch meat. Cook hides and watch meat. She's already messing up her words. I told him so. I went hunting with men, and what did I get? Still the name. You are a woman. Still the same. The woman, you stay home. You even gave me a nickname. The Soft Chieftain. Like a warrior woman was a funny joke. Damn, I even went to hunt those shit-faced frost giants, and there, sweat beating on her forehead. Raised her hand awkwardly and forced herself again. So I left. Cowards, scoundrels, and sissies they were. That's why. Well, you're quite a good fighter. Quite good, huh? Compared to who? If I was a crappy male, I'd fight better. Is that what you say? Or you say I could be better, like go get some training, Amiri, right? I gotta do at least one cat of good. You're gonna fight. You're an excellent warrior. Just giving you a compliment. True, I fight good. That's what I do best. Okay. I don't think I need to go into the barbarian and the six bears, do I? Let's talk about something else. Is there anything else? Why did you leave? Why did you ready? Okay, so tell you later someday, maybe. Okay, so we'll talk again later. Huh. Yeah, we'll get to monster killing when we do the next live thing. And then the last person I should talk to is Tristan. How are we gonna at this? 48 minutes, so this is gonna be about an hour long, just me talking to all these people. Let's talk to Tristan. Really not. How may I help you, Fiona? Tell me about yourself. Wouldn't know where to begin. Tristan pauses for a moment and thought. You know my name, my faith. I follow Sarenrae. Fair Dawnflower, the healing light, and the ever light. Sarenrae is a goddess who teaches temperance and patience in all things. Compassion and peace are her greatest virtues, and if enemies of the faith can be redeemed, they should be. Worship of this goddess of healing, honesty, redemption, and the sun began far to the east of the inner sea in the vast Padishah Empire of Kalish, but her worshippers can now be found throughout the world. Traveled from the Padish Empire of Kalish. Vast Padish Empire of Kalish dominates much of the south-central Kazmaron. It grew during the Age of Destiny, and its line of emperors has been unbroken for thousands of years. Half a dozen satrapies, the size of countries, separate Kadera from the imperial heartland of Kalish. Each satrapy pays homage to the decrees of the empire, but the grip of the empire is looser the farther one goes from its heart. Okay. What else do you want to know? You don't strike me as a Kalishite. You have nothing to apologize for. Truly, I received my name and appearance from my parents, who came to Kalish from afar. I never knew them, for the fate had separated us when I was young, so I grew up in Kalish, raised by the followers of Sarenrae. My home is where my heart is, within the temples of the great goddess, among the wise and generous men that took upon themselves the care of a child that was so unlike them. I learned mercy and patience at an early age, and it is these virtues that have made me the man I am today. Enjoy traveling? Oh yes, no library, no archive, however large, would ever allowed me to learn so much of the world as I have in my journeys. It was only outside the temple walls I realized every living being is a world unto themselves, a world where many contradictions and passions coexist. Each realm leaves its mark on the lives that live there. Only by visiting it, by breathing the same air, walking on the same soil, can you understand its people, what drives them, what frightens them, their dreams, and how they honor their gods. Doesn't this make you uncomfortable? There are many ways to honor one's gods, Fiona. It is true shrines play a role in the lives of many of the faithful, but even more other ways to serve Saturday. Okay. The healing light. Okay. That is good deeds above all else. I cannot stand by and watch evil claim others. Tristan thinks for a moment, then raises an eyebrow. Perhaps that is another reason why I chose to go on my pilgrimage, leaving behind the temples of Kalish. My faith is in my heart and in my hands. Millions honor Sarenrae in her temples, and my soul is filled with joy when I think of their devotion to the goddess. Nevertheless, my path is a different one. Okay. Do you know where you're going next? No, my thoughts were far from it, for my mission here is not yet done. Why do you ask? Do you wish me to leave your lands? To the contrary, I hope you will stay with me for as long as you can. The thought of you leaving is not welcome one. I too would not welcome the thought of leaving you. Trist pauses, then gives a rueful smile, shaking his head. My apologies, I don't know what came over me. I simply wanted to say I won't leave you until you ask me to. And still, I hope that won't happen. That's disgusting. I don't know. Did I just do something for... Again, it would be nice as a player to have like a little heart show up in the lower right-hand corner of your screen saying, you just did a good thing on romance. So you know when you start up romances and are progressing them, in case you're romancing somebody you don't want to. I mean, it should be like a setting, do you want to know romance, hints or whatever. Tristan lowers his head. Forgive me, my stories have bored you. I'm not accustomed to speaking about myself and the truth. It's not true. Brought me to these lands. I've heard rumors. They say the lands are cursed, and the curses are growing stronger, as if something is granting them power. I could not ignore such rumors. Verses? Do you not see? Every word uttered in the heat of an argument turns into a prophecy here, just waiting to fulfill itself. And if it were only for the people, the land itself seething with curses so ancient their origins are impossible to trace. Take the abandoned temple of Erastil. Also known as Old Deadeye, the stag god is one of the oldest human gods still worshipped in the Inner Sea region. It's concerned with family, farming, hunting, and trade. During the Age of Creation, Aristotle was among the gods who battled Regongar when he sought to destroy Galarian, and were eventually able to contain him in the Dead Vault at the planet's core. His religion dates back to before the Age of Darkness, when small farming communities and hunter-gatherers prayed to him for bountiful horses and successful hunts. Legends claim that it was Old Deadeye himself who crafted the first bow and gifted it to humans to overcome the challenges of the world. Even as the accomplishments of civilization mount, Aristotle continues to embrace and represent simple pleasures life has to offer. What happened to it? What force compelled the priest to leave such a magnificent temple behind to the whims of nature? Will we ever know? I myself was nearly slain by beasts. Fortunately, you came along following a Shoad and saved me. I owe you a great debt. Why did he see you in his premonition? Sarenrae sees all the gods and goddesses as her allies. Many have fought alongside the goddess against the remnants of Regongar. Aristotle among them. By offering my prayer to Sarenrae, I let her know my misfortune in the Temple of the Elk. The merciful goddess did not ignore her plea. By whom could she have asked? But whom could she ask? She asked. But whom could have she asked for aid than Aristotle, whose faith is strong in these lands? Aristotle had sent Jod a sign, and you came in just in time to rescue me. To tell the truth, I was certain my journey was at an end, and those creatures were to be the death of me. You've come a great distance indeed. When you look at it that way, then yes, but please do not think I came all the way from Kalish because of mere curiosity. I was wandering long before that. It's a custom of our faith. The farther our paths take us, the more people we may help. So, what do you think? Cruel lands. As I came here, I bore witness to much pain and suffering, but I have seen equal kindness among those seeking to protect themselves and their loved ones. The people of the Stolen Lands are resolute and true to themselves. I admire their strength. Alas, I do not yet I do not know yet what powers the curses that flourish in this land, but I swear I will not leave until I have an answer and that means to cleanse them. You must forgive me for not swearing on Sarenrae's name, but as of late I have troubled the goddess too much as it is, and I would never serve her through action. I would better serve her through action, not prayer. Okay. What do you mean by that? It's a mere jest. Other acolytes in my temple used to tease me with that title. This should tell you how pious and devoted I was compared to them. And yet my faith is strong. Sarenrae knows this and protects me in times of great peril. If something ever threatens my life, by her divine powers I am transported to a safe location. Another story person that can't be killed. He's like Lindsey. You can't kill him. At least not right away. So he gets into that situation where he's like gone to death's door and then gets hit to be killed again. He's going to be taken away to a safe location. Okay. Not that that would help us, because if he's down that far, then most of the rest of us are probably already dead. Because he's not a frontline fighter. Okay. Don't want to say leave. Alright, I think we've done everybody. Okay, so we've talked with everybody, right? Is that everybody? I talked with Tristan, Lindsey, Jathael, Amiri, Val, Reggie, and Octavia. We still have to level Reggie and Octavia up. I do have a poll out on my channel, so go and vote. So far, it's 50-50 on Octavia between... Oh, no, it's 50... I had one vote for Octavia to go to Arcane Trickster so far, which I think is probably the best thing for her. And Reggie, it's split between making him a Dragon Disciple and making him just stay as his Magus Elder Scion. Elder Scion sounds really interesting to let him like really rank up in. And the thing is if I do like by 10th level, he would be able to still go over to Dragon Disciple, so I could actually change my mind after he gets up and have him go down the Dragon Disciple path. Arcane Trickster path, you really want to go early if you're going to go down that path as soon as you can, because it gives you so many extra bonuses for the mid levels. And then once you get up to its 10th level, you can finish off your last few high levels at whatever class you'd like to go excel at. So, alright, so I think we've talked with everybody, so I'm going to go put me back over here where I was when we started this video. So that's where I told everybody on the live stream I'd be back to. And, yeah, I think we've already cleaned out our inventory. I'm still keeping the padded armor +1 for some reason. I can't remember why. And this was the Nymph's Gift. I figured that might be a story item. I have lots of magical stuff here. This is stuff that I can't remember if Reggie can read scrolls or not. Something we can check. I don't think he can read scrolls. No, he can't. So he can't... No, he can use them, but he can't read them. Octavia is the one that can... yeah, see, she can copy things to her spellbook. So she's going to be able to do some of this. I have to be careful what spells I copy, because anything that's necromancy, like this one... Oh, she can't use that one anyway. What about this one? That one she's not good at. It would take 2 slots to use that spell, so it's pointless to put in her spell book. I can't remember what's the other. Is it this one? I think it's Abjuration. These are no good for her either. So if you check her spells... no, it's not her spells. Under her class thing here, it says that her opposition school is Necromancy, and her opposition is Abjuration. Physical or magical bearers negate magical or physical abilities, harm like stone skin and stuff. Those things are not things that she can cast real well. She could probably cast them off a scroll, with her use magic device skill, but other than that, Lindsey has a pretty good at one of those too. So other than that, she's not going to get those kinds of things. Transmutation is things like haste, things like that. She can do evocation, which is like fireballs, and conjuration, which is like mage armor. Is actually a conjuration, not a. I always thought mage armor was an abjuration, but I guess it's not. It's actually a conjuration thing, so she can use mage armor on herself. So she might be somebody that we bring along in the not too distant future. Okay. So anyway, there you have it. We've talked with everybody that we can talk to. And if you like what you see, a thumbs up button. If you like to see, go subscribe, hit the notify bell, be notified to upload videos or schedule streams. Please join me on my Saturday morning streams for Fiona, our female monk. And I will see you then. This is Dren608. Until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.